5, 6, 7, and 8. So what?
Time out.
All right.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Political Cabaret.
Thank you.
I am Lindsay, your host, and I will be asking you a few questions.
Okay.
So first, do you consider yourself as an artist?
Yes, I do, absolutely.
And what type of art form do you practice?
Mine mainly is music, but I've recently been diving more into a little bit of, as much as I can, trying to broaden myself. So a little bit more, video work, photography work, things like that. So mainly music with different artists, but life is art. That's how I look at it.
And with you saying life is art, I feel like art is really powerful. So tell me your thoughts as an artist. Do you believe that artists can be considered historians?
Absolutely, yes. Of course, African tradition, teaching history to the children was always through music. That's how they passed down, the family values, history, the knowledge, that they had to pass on from generation to generation through music. That's always been a way of it from as far back in history as I've learned about myself. So yeah.
What artists do you feel like influenced you?
Musically, or what do you mean?
You can talk on both spectrums, however you feel inclined to answer.
Influenced me. It's a long list. But I would say, where do I start? I go back, so we can go everywhere from, Sam Cooke, Billie Holiday and them, because they was going through racial things outside of their own, music, and it wasn't, all happy-go-lucky in those times, of course. I learned a lot from them, especially in the times that we're in now, speaking on a lot, and put it, into their music and things like that. All the way up to, of course, the people who are out making a difference now, trying to make a difference, talking about it, of course, you're always going to have the Tupacs, the J. Coles and everybody like that, and I mean, I would say, they are influential in my viewpoints as well as into my, my music.
And you mentioned Billie Holiday. Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about what you know about Billie Holiday. How do you feel about the work, everything?
Billie Holiday was, now I'm not a historian, I don't know everything in the world about Billie Holiday, but I'll say this.
As an artist.
Right, as an artist though, I would say she pushed the envelope a lot, at a time where, of course, musically, especially in those days where this is before hip hop, before, a lot of the other genres that we have now, when everybody was pretty much, singing. It was, it was soul, it was soul music. Billie Holiday was always one of the people who put her soul into her music. It wasn't love songs all the time. It wasn't, she was telling stories. She was being vulnerable, and not trying to keep a facade for entertainment. It wasn't that with her. She was writing those words just because it helped her get through the day. And it really crossed over into the minds and to the hearts of everyone. It gives you a platform, it gives you an example, to let you know that, it's okay. Tell your truth, tell your story, speak on things that you might not have heard other people speak on already. It's okay for you to be the first.
Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth. Scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is the fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here is a strange and bitter crop.
Today, we are specifically getting into Billie Holiday's song Strange Fruit.
Yes.
So if you have heard Strange Fruit, you know that song is very powerful in itself.
Absolutely.
So I have one question that is based on the song that I want you to really think about before you answer. So
Okay.
take your time. So, how has lynching psychologically affected the American mind?
Wow. How has lynching psychologically affected the American mind? I'm glad you said American because it's different sides to it. Lynching itself, being the in those times when it was actually, black folk hanging from trees, the actual lynchings were happening. It'll mess you up. It's like if a child sees their parent get gunned down today, it's gonna affect that child 20, 30 years later, of course. With these lynchings, it was the entire neighborhood, is seeing their friend, cousin, brother, neighbor, whatever, hanging from a tree. It traumatized the entire neighborhood, that is, and if it as much as it was happening, and it still happens to this day, I still hear about it, we still, it pops up, on the news or something like that real quick, and then it goes away. It's like they always want to sweep it under the rug. But psychologically, like I said, just seeing death to anybody, it would definitely change it. So that's what happened with black people. It destroys your idea of trusting the world, trusting that when I leave the house, I'm gonna make it back home. Trusting your safety, your freedom. Being, you see little people hanging on trees, and you realize, okay, I don't need to be on that side of town, or my best friend lives over there, but now I can't go to his house no more. Things like that. It separates you. It separates people. It honestly does. And then of course on the other side, the people who were doing it, to them, it's crazy. It's like to them they felt empowered, but at the same time, not knowing it was destroying them as well. Just because you're hurting somebody, killing somebody, whatever like that. Sure, in that moment, you may feel like you have overpowered this person, but they're still detrimental to your own psychology, and to your own soul, your spirit, things like that. It's going to eat away at you over time, and like I said, it gives you, it creates a false sense of reality, honestly, seeing these things over time. And then of course, the modern day lynchings is still happening, just because it's not a black man hanging from a tree, it's a black man laying in the street.